What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you guys a review of the Ducks of a Feather Nike Air Max 95-97 in the Storm colorway. This was the latest collaboration between Nike and the University of Oregon's Ducks of a Feather brand, which represents their student athletes. Releasing on Air Max Day, March 26, these were sold on the GOAT app, and though the Oregon Ducks are no strangers to Nike collaborations, this is the first time that they've worked together on this fusion silhouette, the Air Max 95-97, which combines the upper of the Air Max 97 with the bottom tooling of the Air Max 95. So alongside the Storm colorway, they also dropped two other regional exclusives, a Lightning colorway and a Thunder colorway, but I believe the Storm colorway was the most widely available. So the official colorway for this shoe, according to the box, is multicolor and black, and these retailed for I believe $275 US, and the retail price here to Canada was 400 Canadian dollars. That's definitely not cheap though, but I was really curious to see how these were in person, so I picked these up to give you guys my review. So the colorway for this shoe, if it looks familiar, it's because we've seen a similar iridescent color scheme with the classic celery colorway of the Air Tune Max, or more lately seen on the Skepta collaboration on his Air Max 97. So that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw this shoe, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you value creativity and originality. Before we go on any further though, here's a quick look at the packaging. So this is the same box that we've seen used before in past University of Oregon and Nike collaborations. So on the top, we have Nike branding and Oregon Ducks branding on here. On the bottom, it says the word limited. And on the inside lid, we have a graphic of the Oregon Duck. So as for the shoe itself, diving into the details, like any Air Max 97, the upper is comprised of different layers which have this flowy appearance to it, covering the entire upper. So in the case for this shoe, the materials are iridescent, so they range from this reddish bronze color to more of a yellowish green, depending on the angle that you're looking at it from. All these layers appear to be synthetic, not genuine leathers. And you'll see how the second layer from the bottom, this has more of a yellowish green color. And they also incorporate a black colored woven mesh with reflective 3M detailing within it towards the top. On the bottom of the midfoot, we have this large layer which feels like a patent leather almost. And embroidered in it, we have a mini swoosh done in a mix of black and neon. So you'll see how these panels or overlays flow towards the heel. And then running down the heel, we have this large 3M pull tab with the words Ducks of a Feather. Turning our attention back to the front, for the laces, these come with a thin black colored rope style lace, but they have these plastic lace tips which feature Ducks of a Feather branding on them. The laces weave through this overlay, which is also constructed out of that iridescent synthetic material, and then the tongue itself is covered in that same black colored mesh material, but we have an oval shaped lenticular patch. This is at the top of the tongue and it shows you either the Nike swoosh or Ducks of a Feather, depending on the angle that you're looking at it from. And then on the very top of the tongue, we have another small reflective pull tab here as well. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in a silky smooth black colored liner. And then taking a look at the inside, the insoles here are your typical foam lined insole, however, they feature custom University of Oregon branding which differ between the left foot and the right. So the upper of these shoes sits atop the tooling taken from the Air Max 95. So this is a blacked out polyurethane foam midsole, but it features Nike Air Max technology visible both underneath the forefoot and the heel. So the air units are done in this green color. As for the bottom, this is your typical Air Max 95 outsole. It's done in a mix of black and neon green colored rubber. We have this waffle style traction pattern on the forefoot, and running down the center of the heel, we have this TPU layer, which basically acts as a TPU shank plate, and beneath this you can see the University of Oregon branding. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this shoe. For those wondering about how these fit, so I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I usually wear a size 10.5, which is a half size up in Air Max 95s. However, for this shoe, I got these in my true size and they fit me really well. I feel like it's because of the upper, it utilizes the Air Max 97, so it's not as narrow and it doesn't have as aggressive of a taper in the toe box like a typical Air Max 95 from years past. So I feel like if you have a narrow, normal, or even a slightly wide foot, you can go true to size in these. If you have a really wide foot, or if you're someone that just likes more of a roomy shoe, I feel like you could go up half a size, but just tighten up the laces to give you a more secure fit. Moving on to the comfort of the shoe, so unfortunately it feels like any other recent Air Max 95, which is not going to feel super soft straight out of the box. Keep in mind though, in my experience, the more you wear in an Air Max 95, the more the foam kind of softens up. Then they'll feel more comfortable and more broken in. but straight out of the box, it's really not that soft. That's not to say that it's uncomfortable, but if you're looking for a shoe that's immediately really pillowy and very soft underfoot, then this is not going to be the shoe for you. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was really uninspiring. It's all just synthetic materials. If you're expecting genuine leathers on this shoe, you're going to be disappointed. It just feels very synthetic, but that's kind of expected given how most Air Max 97s are. The build of the shoe too I thought wasn't perfect. There were some long strings or threads that I had to trim down myself, and there were some dried glue along the upper that I had to peel off with my fingers. But that's kind of typical when it comes to Nike quality control. So was it perfect? No, but there really wasn't anything major on this shoe from a QC standpoint that bugged me. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. All in all, I'd say that this is an okay release. It's really not anything that really wowed me. The silhouette itself takes a bit of getting used to. When I see the 97 combined with the 95, it just really makes me appreciate the normal Air Max 97 and the normal Air Max 95 a lot more. Combining the two, I mean, it kind of works, but I don't think it works as seamlessly as those two respective silhouettes on their own. So that definitely takes some getting used to. The colorway of the shoe though I think is really solid. Yes, we've kind of seen the similar color scheme before with like the Skepta Air Max 97s and originally on the Celery Air Tune Max. So it's nothing that's reinventing the wheel, but I think this is a great alternative if you missed out on those two releases and you like that similar sort of iridescent finish that this shoe has. But at the end of the day, the retail price for this shoe I think was way too high. I think if it was marked down to like 200 USD or something like that, that would have been a little bit more reasonable. And I think that's part of the reason why this shoe was sitting in almost all sizes, at least for the full day on Air Max Day, which is kind of surprising. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you guys think about this Air Max 95-97 in the Storm colorway? What are your overall thoughts on this pair? Of the three, Thunder, Lightning, and Storm, which of the three is your favorite? Leave all of your thoughts down below and let's talk about it. As usual, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'll link all my social media accounts. You can check them out from the link down below. And as always, I appreciate your continued love and support, and I'll catch everybody in my next video.